Hola Madridistas. Don't know where to start. Like last episode, unlike last episode, this match was a win. Um, it could have gone also very wrong if not for some very poor finishing, especially by Shakthar Donetsk. And obviously, we were very, very poor as well. I hope this is a morale booster for our team, but it remains to be seen how much more sharper we can get because today we were sharp in periods, but if we are going to retain the Champions League title, we got to step it up. On that note, again, I guess, welcome back.
And we're live, guys.
Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. I don't know where to begin, honestly, with this game. But before that, we need to kind of do some housekeeping. How is the panel doing? How are you guys feeling, especially on the back of what was a stinker of a last game against Osasuna? This game should have been surely, a lifting of spirits of sorts. I mean, anybody can start basically,
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I couldn't agree more. After the last game, this game was for sure definitely what the doctor ordered. And at least for the first 30, 40 minutes, I mean, that's why I watch football personally, this kind of movements, those kind of, touches. And even if they don't lead to goal, and, as you guys are, I'm always not the proponent of scoring, but I rather beautiful football. But for me, that was just, the icing on the cake for me.
Mm-hmm. So you weren't that fussy about us not being clinical?
I mean, you have those days where, the chances just don't go your way, but like the point is the chances are being created. And the point is, again, the fact that there were times in the game where, although Donetsk were actually a bit more open compared to some of the teams we play, but there were times that they had 10 men behind the ball. But our players were still able to find those small spaces, the one-touch passes, to create opportunities and here and there. To be honest, it was to be, in my opinion, a very good first half performance. I mean, the only thing I had from the first half was, Fede slept off and Carvajal was exploited. So yeah, that's just the thing.
We were getting exploited in the wide area like a lot, especially down Carvajal's side because Rodrigo was there. He has been on sensational form for Shakhtar this season. Just 21 years of age, he looks very, very promising. But I guess we kind of somehow weather the storm. But this has been a constant pattern, especially us getting bed down the wings. Not so much on Mendy's side, but more so often on Carvajal's. But I want to ask you, Javier. We can't seem to help the goalkeeper, basically, like we discussed in the group. A Real Madrid goalkeeper is a thankless job, and a clean sheet would have been very, very nice, especially for the whole team, not just Lunin, right? Like for Lunin, it would have been like a confidence booster, but the team would have this nagging thought in the back of their minds about why can't we actually see out games with a clean sheet. What is your take on it?
I mean, I think that we're gonna saw this team between October and November. I'm thinking that the only two game that they're willing to play, the 90 minutes, is the Barca one. There's nothing motivates to them to give the 100%. They're all scared to injure and miss out the World Cup. So for me, like you said, Lunin needs to be confident, because he's gonna play maybe in a few games. Maybe not the Clásico. I think Courtois is gonna play the Clásico, but the same. It's gonna be a Lunin rotation in these next few games, and man, we're dominated that much that maybe Alaba forgets to shut out to Militao, and the whole defense was misplaced in the goal. That guy tries to hit it with the left foot, and I think he touched the ball between his knee and his scalp. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a lucky shot, but I mean, it's not.
It's
The only thing that worries me is that I think we're like 10 games, and we only have one clean sheet, and that's worrying, because last season we played a lot worse in the defense, and we receive a lot few less goals. I mean, I'm worried because I think the problem is not a player, it's the dynamic of the defense. Like the whole defense as
the whole setup.
Yeah. It's not Mendy, it's not Militao, it's not Alaba, it's not Rodrigo.
It is a collective. It is a collective, because it is a pattern, Javier. Like we have discussed this to death so many times, that these guys switch off for God knows what reason. Especially tonight, like if you notice, Alaba is completely unaware of where Zubkov is. Like he's not even attempting to take a look. Like people say basically it's because he is not a natural center back, which is understandable. He got molded into this center back like throughout his latter stages of his career. Like earlier, he used to be a wing back, like one of the best in the world. But like, don't you think center back is a position that is very uncompromising, especially defensively, compared to a wing back position where you can afford a couple of lapses of concentration? But while being a center back in a back four, for Real Madrid, it's difficult.
If you ask me, the thing is that I said it in previous shows that we talk about this. They're overconfident. All the players are overconfident, and they think that there's no way he's gonna cross that, and there's no way he's gonna shoot that. From time to time, they do. And Militao thinks he's faster than everyone, and Carvajal thinks he's smarter than everyone. And that overconfidence, Vini can have it. Benzema can have it. Rodrigo can have it, but not the defense. The defense has to think, no, everyone is better than me, because that's the mindset that you need for to be a start defense in the Champions League winning team. That's the mentality that I think Courtois has it. Courtois thinks that everyone can score a beautiful goal, and that's the way that when Courtois receives a goal, it's like no one in the world could say that. But we saw time and time again that the players, the plays that we receive in the scoring, they're not only defended well by any other defender, but our defender can do that, and they show us they can do that. For me, it's that a triple annoying. If we like one-on-one with Mbappe does magic. I mean, what can you do? But tonight and last Sunday and these all weeks, we saw plays that we can defend better, and the mindset is not the right. We're gonna win anyway. If they score, we're gonna score one more, and that's a dangerous game.
Very dangerous game.
I think it will be difficult to change that when you have to lock out the defense. You don't know how. because you're not doing it weekend and midweeks,
Like I can totally understand like how you mentioned the team doesn't sometimes recognize the need to lock out games, like hold on to a clean sheet. A clean sheet is never the priority. I don't know, especially this season, like at least the first phase of the season. But last season, if you remember, we used to have games like these, and Thibaut used to be superhuman and kind of bail us out, either conceding very few goals or via clean sheets, which were rare, of course. But I'm going to counter your point, Javier, by saying that what I noticed, especially after the first leg in Paris against PSG, that that was like in the knockouts, we usually have that switch in our heads, like especially how as a collective our team manages the defense is much more tighter, is much more sharper than what was on display on today, and like a few games in the first phase of this season. But yeah, defense has like always been an issue, will always continue to be an issue. People are raising concerns that Rudiger is the best centre back at the club. He is a very dominant presence, both on the ball, off the ball, dealing with aerial duels, the lot. Rudiger seems to be the one having an edge over Militao and Alaba, but still seems to get dropped. What is your take on it, Jacob? Like, do you think a partnership such as Alaba and Militao, who rightfully won us the Champions League and rightfully should be favorites for the starting CP positions, like, do you think that their solidified spots should be under scrutiny, and should we kind of maybe mix and match a bit more?
Okay, so breaking up a UCL winning backline is never a good idea. But in this case, you would think that adding Rudiger and then a bit of steel to the back, especially since Alaba is not a natural centre back, would help us. But the problem is that what I've noticed especially is that Militao and Rudiger, both of them step out for the ball. So no one among the two of them, like I wouldn't ask any of the two of them to be the last man on defense. Alaba is that guy for you. He's the one who sits back, sprays those passes. So I feel like having two centre backs of the same style has kind of hurt us with the squad planning. So we are almost forced to play Alaba all the time as a left centre back, and either Rudiger or Militao, depending on how fit they are.
So it is more of a decision not driven by choice but driven by circumstance. You could call it, but
I mean,
Alaba always
Sonny,
is the one. Yeah, go on.
sorry, Sonny. There is Nacho,
Yeah.
For that, if that purpose, we have one center back that is Alaba type, but it's a center back. Why wouldn't they give Nacho a chance? He cannot do better, worse than Alaba or Militao today.
But the thing is, Alaba looks very bad on his worse days, but we all know he is the better center back compared to Nacho. Like, he has something about him, Alaba, especially in clutch games. But Nacho, like you said, rightfully can do a job. But like you, I don't think anybody knows an answer to why Nacho isn't considered to be one of the top center backs at the club. Like, he's always a rotational option, jack of all trades. Like, he'll be only deployed if and when our hand is forced to actually bring on Nacho, but he's never put into a conversation. When this conversation started, like, I was completely oblivious to Nacho, because he's never really given the spotlight. I can't seem to understand why either, because last season we all saw how clutch he was, especially against City when he came on. he was really good. But that is something I think Carlo should actually delve into, because in this moment of time, I think honestly, the centre back pairing is the one that is letting us down more than the wing backs. And we have always voiced this concern, that like we should be better equipped with dealing with crosses and set pieces of any kind. And like it's so funny that we concede so many goals via crosses, and we used to be known for being cross and inshallah. But tonight it was something like cross and shoot and inshallah, basically, because hopeful shots were our only thing. I don't understand, like, why are we so inferior on set pieces too, and all at the same time while conceding, goals from crosses and stuff. So it is a worry, but I'm not gonna stress too much on the negatives tonight. We gotta give our props to Shakhtar, who was more than a very well equipped opposition, especially they were playing away and they put up a fight. So we gotta give them credit. But any any sort of controversial takes, especially that I was just browsing Twitter during halftime, and some people were onto Benzema. I can't understand why. I mean, you can be disappointed that he's not looking as sharp as the Benzema who kind of closed off last season. Like, it should be understandable that he was coming back from an injury and it's going to take time for him to get back into rhythm and stuff. But let's talk about the man of the moment. Yeah. Mr. UCL. Rodrigo has a goal involvement every 68 minutes. That is mental stuff, especially for a kid that is a rotational option. Like, only I think this season, towards the last few games, he has kind of imposed himself into a starting role of sorts. I want to come to you, Farooq. Like, is this the breakout season of Rodrigo? Like how it was Vinicius last season?
Nope, it is not. So far, it hasn't been, because it's still the same thing. Like, as I think you guys also discussed in the last episode as well. The thing is, Rodrigo does the basic things very well, but he doesn't give me the excitement that brings me out of my seat. Not yet. So, like, I mean, I wouldn't say it's his breakout yet. I will, wait to see what happens. As actually Javier rightly pointed out, which is a very important thing. Like, a lot of these players are playing with the handbrakes on because of the World Cup and what is and what is not. You understand? So far so good. I wouldn't say like I have seen something that will. I will say like, yeah, he might be getting there, because to be honest, like, you can see he's taking up more positions, moving in centrally, having better understanding with Benzema especially. So, but so far so good. I wouldn't say this is his breakout here, because I think his ceiling is much more higher than this.
So, but you should be able to agree that this is a much better start to Rodrigo's season compared to, his previous years with us.
Definitely, I'm not denying that. I said, like, there are improvements there, where you understand, but like so far, I wouldn't say like this is his breakout here, because I believe that even Rodrigo is expecting more for himself, and I'm also expecting more from him, because so far so good. He just does the basic things really well, which that's fine and good as well. But I believe that there is more to Rodrigo's game as well.
I mean, the understanding between that front three, front four, you could say, with Valverde, who was always bombing up from midfield tonight, was sensational. Rodrigo.
Okay, let me just put this to you as well. Like, for me right now, to be honest, I am not comfortable playing Rodrigo without Fede Valverde in the midfield. That's just my opinion. To be honest, I am not comfortable with that. I'd rather have a two attacker and Fede as a winger and someone else in midfield. To be honest, that's one of the things also, like, I would because I feel like Rodrigo also sometimes lack the awareness of the of what's on the wing, because whether one thing we can see also with Vinicius is that he's always very conscious of his fullback as well.
Yeah, I think Rodrigo is a little more naive, but he works. He works hard. He's not someone that neglects defending, right?
No, he doesn't. But what I'm saying is that, like, Rodrigo actually a lot of time gets caught centrally.
Yeah.
For example, like, I can give you example of the goal today. For example, the goal today happened because Fede was attacking the wing, Rodrigo was central, and there was so much space for the fullback to just go in and cross. Like there was no one even, because even immediately after the goal, the camera was panning to Ancelotti, and he was kind of pushing this. You guys should push onto this space, push onto this space. It was just no man's land.
Yeah, get tight. But I can totally understand why you would feel that way. But you know very well that Rodrigo is a right-footed player, right? Like, so there's only so much he can do out wide, which is why his mental tendency is to, I need to move in. But at plays like the second goal, it works. You see how fucking fluid it was. Like, one touch movement, 4 players involved, everybody knowing what to do when. Like it's poetry in motion. But the flip side is like what you mentioned, how we consider the goal. But I honestly think, this is my very biased opinion, that Rodrigo, although like what you mentioned, Farouk, that his expectations of himself would be higher, I think there are signs that this could be a breakout season for Rodrigo if he keeps this vein of form coming. But
I mean, let's discuss this in December to make more sense.
Yeah. But I'm just trying to give him props for tonight. He is the man of the match. He set up a goal. What a pass as well on a plate. This guy, I've seen him so many times.
My man, did you watch the same game? I think Rodrigo is not the man of the match, in my opinion.
Who is your man of the match then, Farouk?
I think it's either Vinicius or Fede Valverde, one of those two guys. Like Vini is smoking something else, in my opinion. Whatever he's smoking, I want to get a bit of it.
I mean, Vinicius was so wasteful as well. Okay, like let's ask Jacob. How wasteful was Vinicius? He was good. He took his goal well. He was always a constant threat. We all know that Vinicius is a much more polished attacker than Rodrigo. Although Rodrigo is a better finisher and whatnot, but you can't say that Vinicius is the man of the match. Surely, Jacob.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Vinicius had more shots. He had more key passes because he was trying to cross to Benzema so much, and he had more dribbles. So, like these 3 metrics are enough to make you man of the match as well. Like I'm gonna have to lean in with Farouk, but by no means did Rodrigo had a substandard match because he was so important to the 2 goals we scored. He was so important to the link-up play because he kept coming over to the left side, and Fede had to occupy the right side to keep the attack going. And then the combinations between Benzema, Rodrigo, and Vinicius was so crucial. So I feel like all 3 of them played a good part. Even though, like, of the 3 of them, I feel like Benzema is the only one who had kind of a rusty game, but he was also very crucial in all of the build-up. So if you look at all of our chances which led to dangerous shots, Benzema was in there, Rodrigo was in there, Vinny was in there. But for my man of the match, I'm going to have to go with Vinny.
Fair play. Since we're on the man of the match topic, Javier, what is your take? Like, is it just, hyperbole that Rodrigo should be the man of the match?
No, it's not an hyperbole, man. You're not exaggerating. Definitely, like, there is a shout. Right. I just said, like, this is my opinion. Right, there is a shout, to be honest. A goal and assist, obviously, you're going to be a candidate for the man of the match.
I'm with you, Sven. I think Rodrigo was the man of the match. I agree with Jacob and Farouk said. Like, this is a tough one. Maybe sometimes we watch the game and we are all clear that who deserves the man of the match. Today was not 100% clear. I mean, for me, it's Rodrigo, but not for the same reasons that you are. I don't mind the assist. And the goal was consequential, I think the Rodrigo game for me was very special. In the first 30 minutes, I saw the kind of game that Real Madrid are capable of. The best football that we saw this season, I think, was the first 30 minutes. Yeah. But that means that we need to probably bench or Kroos or Modric. This game, we saw like Rodrigo, Valverde, and Vini play just right back from Benzema, and they switch all the time. But I think the reason why I'm excited as a breakout season for Rodrigo is not in the right wing or in the left wing. He's not a winger, Vini is a winger. You know, Bini is CR7.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
But
I mean,
I
in a
think
sense, Vinny is a much more like he's not second. He's not a second striker material like Rodrigo.
no,
Right?
no, no, no.
Yeah,
That's exactly.
yeah.
Rodrigo has the potential to be a number 9, a number 10, or a winger. You know, Bini. If you put Bini in the center of the attacking, he will be lost. But not Rodrigo. Rodrigo is more a playmaker. It doesn't. He's not a showman like Bini is, but he doesn't need to be. You know, the thing that we as Real Madrid fans compare them because they're almost the same age and they're both Brazilian. But are two different and complementary players. You know, for me, I'm excited because tonight I saw what the movements can Rodrigo make. You know, and we have Benzema because Rodrigo to show. I agree with Farouk. He needs Fede and he needs Benzema. You know, maybe in the future we need a center forward and we need Valverde to exploit the real potential of Rodrigo. I don't remember a player in Real Madrid that remind me of what Rodrigo can make. You know, I'm trying to think of it and I don't remember who was the last one because he has more goals than Modric or Ozil of this kind of playmaker, and he lacks of the last pass that they all do. They have. So I don't seem to remember who Rodrigo reminds me, but it's an excited position, you know, because he can play in the center of the attacking like a number 10 with more goal.
He reminds me of, you know who? Let me tell you a name. Like, he's not one of the best players to play the game or anything. He only had patches. He reminds me of Andre Schürrle. How lethal he was, both while playmaking and also scoring big goals. Like, he reminds me of that kind of clutchness. Like, obviously, like Andre Schürrle isn't one of the greats of the game or anything, but you know, just like something that I felt when you said, who does he remind you of? Okay.
For me, he kind of reminds me of Robinho as well.
Yeah. Good shout. Robinho is a good shout. But Robinho was far more skillful. You know, Rodrigo used to be a very, very good dribbler compared to Rodrigo. But fairly good shouts. But completely off topic, just because I came across this, you know, I got to show this to the camera and the panel. I don't know if you guys can, you guys wouldn't be able to see it. But it is basically, if somebody can screen share and go to Madrid Extra, it is basically a picture of Rudiger having pizza, you know, walking out of the stadium. Look what these guys make, you know, players like Rudiger do. Man is so depressed that he can't start against fucking Shakhtar. Man is having pizza on the way back home. Don Carlo, you know, you got to be putting tabs on it, man. You can't be.
Guys, can I say something? It's gonna be a controversial thing too, but like, how many Zamora trophies did Ike Casillas win? How many Zamora trophies does Keylor Navas win? I kind of find it like we're blowing things out of proportion. I get we don't defend set pieces. That is something we can discuss. But keeping clean sheets has never been. I mean, since I started watching Real at least.
Yeah.
I know when I was young, I was really pissed. Why do Valdez has all the Zamora trophies, you know? And then Atletico came with Simeone and it was De Gea, it was Courtois, it was Oblak. It was never our keepers. So, I mean, we conceding goals is normal. In my opinion, this is what I feel. So, like, if we concede goals, I don't feel anything, you understand? Because I remember even one game comes to mind, the game against Schalke, I think we won 6 or 5. And Klaas-Jan Huntelaar scored a goal that he would never score again in his life.
Massive.
Out of the blue. You know, like, that's the thing. Like, I mean, for us, it's always been like that. You know, as Javier was saying as well, you know, like, we have this arrogance towards that we're better than everyone. That's how it has been. You know, from Sergio Ramos to Pepe, even Rafa Varane, you know, even fucking Arbeloa, man, like, the man is a legend. I love him, but he was a shitty footballer, in my opinion. He always had, you know, that thing that we had that arrogance, you understand? That's why we consider, and that's true, you understand? But I feel like it doesn't matter if we bring Baresi and Maldini and put them together, we're still gonna concede, in my opinion. That's just what we are.
Well, I'll
I
tell you
think
something.
the stat that proved you right, Farouk, is that from the Zamora trophy, I think maybe one or two goalkeepers of Real Madrid had won it in the last, I don't know, 20 years. I think Courtois won it in the last season, the 1920 season of Zidane. And I think Casillas has like one. I totally get you, you know. We're not a team that defends well, but nevertheless, it's important to us to because, like you said, it's not a Huntelaar goal. You know, it's not like that. The goal against
Very valid point. Very valid point. Like, Javier is making a point which makes me completely agree with him. Like if you take into account that goal Thibaut conceded against Sheriff, in the loss that we had at the Bernabeu, like that is unsavable. But goals like today can be prevented. It is a clear lapse of concentration. I mean, goalkeepers are always going to be the fall guy. Even the defense, you kind of know. Like, I don't know how Militao and Alaba helped us win the Champions League last season, because they were outplayed for large parts of major knockout ties, and they still somehow held their own. So it has always been a trend, and it is never going to change. And you guys made very sensible points that, obviously this ego is what kind of makes us lose concentration. But yeah, we kind of touched upon Rodrigo and Vinicius, but some other players also had like a very prominent appearance like tonight, namely Fede Valverde, who is again proving us how versatile he can be. He and Cruz, this is a stat I read, made like combined 12 chances tonight alone, and we had like 30 shots. So even when things are not actually clicking, these guys are still managing to keep the grind on. Especially, I could see we clearly lacked Modric's incision tonight, but Valverde brought in so much energy, right? Like Javier, like he is this force of nature that always somehow manages to win back a rebound, or wriggle out of very tight marking and somehow move the play forward. He's very underrated, especially at his work rate.
I mean, you describe him well. He's a force of the nature, I think Fede is a player that will fit. Is the only Real Madrid player that could fit in any team in the world. Because, as you said, he's a versatile player, but he defends well, he attacks well, he do everything well. The only thing that I'm afraid that he's not gonna be able to keep that performance in the physical aspect for that many years. I mean, he will lose speed eventually. I mean, he's young, but the speed is the only thing that you lost. You saw what happens with Ronaldo. I mean, Ronaldo is like, I don't know, 38.
37, 38, yeah.
But I think that we're going to see what Fede is capable of doing, like 2 or 3 years tops. But I think he's gonna rethink his position in this team, because I see that with Kroos and Modric, Fede doesn't need to create the chances. He needs to dribble and finish. But maybe when they both retire, he needs to step up in the creativity department, and I think he has the potential to do so. And also, just a quick note: it's official. Lopetegui is out of Sevilla. You know,
Oh, he's sad.
finally,
Finally.
finally,
They lost 3-1, 4-1,
4-1
4-1.
in with a Borussia Dortmund side
In
that
Sevilla.
is not that scary anymore, and at home. You know, they're being postponing the left out of Lopetegui. I think one season more than he deserves. I mean,
Lopetegui.
I don't like that guy. So
Really? You don't like Lopetegui?
no.
I used to like Solari more. You know,
If you
Santiago
remember the last game, it was like a million goals against Barcelona. I think that's the thing that I will remember
I just
Lopetegui all my
erased
life.
the entire Lopetegui era from my memory because it started on a bad note, ended on a bad note. I have no recollection of what happened during the Lopetegui era.
Wait,
Apart
Lopetegui
from
actually
players.
managed us.
Hmm.
No, he doesn't
Nice one,
manage us.
Jacob.
He was in the pitch, but clueless.
Like honestly, man, like if Perez comes and tells you that come with us and he readily leaves the national team like right before the World Cup, obviously you wouldn't be respected. You can't do the stuff like that. Football is a game where people talk to each other, right? Like news travels faster than light in football. So
But they were so dumb. So if you remember, Spain appointed as a coach Fernando Hierro, and
yeah.
if you think that Lopetegui is Real Madrid bias, maybe one of the most important captains of the Real Madrid era is a little more biased. You know, for me, it was done for the Spanish Federation to left out Lopetegui for that reason. You know, it was so dumb because time and time again we hear like, oh, he's gonna be the next Bayern and the German national team do that. They do the exact same thing, and no one cares about it. You know.
Well, Lopetegui is a story for another day. I mean, we can just wish him well, and
No,
this at least ends his misery. I'm just speaking in good faith. Lopetegui is not my uncle. Just so you know. Yeah, but Valverde, very fair points. He needs to evolve with his age, and only then he can find a sustainable position to thrive in, because we have all watched football quite long to know that versatile players, they tend to fade away. Versatile players who can't nail down a particular position, they tend to fade away. And especially tonight, like I saw that he was given license to shoot, and man, oh man, the amount of balls he would have hit to Neptune and Mars, I can't count at the moment, but I saw a fair few shots that was way off target. But I guess the entire management is kind of having more confidence in Valverde finding the back of the net, which is a very good sign. But yeah, like he gotta, at least in my opinion, choose what shots to take. But all in all, yeah.
He is the Trent Alexander-Arnold of shooting. Trent is his crossing, inshallah. Fede is the shooter, inshallah, guy.
Speaking of the pool side, did you guys saw that interview when Luis Suarez compares Fede to Steven Gerrard?
Oh yeah, I did. I mean, Fede also said like it'll be like it's a very good honor to be compared to such a great player and stuff. But man, to be compared to Gerrard, it's very early. Very very early. Gerrard used to be insane, especially in the age that Valverde was. Gerrard was already established as one of the world's top midfielders. But Fede, long way to go. Long way to go. Especially like Javier pointed out, how technically good you can be. Fede is a little less talented, especially in playmaking, passing. Just my opinion. But yeah, like it's nice. It's nice hearing stuff like that, about your players. I mean, it's always nice. But another guy who had kind of a redemption after very poor game against Osasuna was Tchouameni. Farouk, are you fairly confident that he is filling the Casemiro role, filling that gap to the best of his abilities? Obviously, he is no Carlos Casemiro, but are you fairly happy so far? I'm going to keep asking this every week because this guy, I see very, very good potential in the way he is moving at the moment.
Yeah, I think for Tchouameni, actually this game was a really good game for him because there's not a lot to do in the game itself, to be honest, because Shakhtar were actually attacking in very little periods of time, and they were attacking specifically towards Carvalho's position as well. So I think for him it was quite a fairly easy going game, and to be honest, I feel like up until the game at the weekend, I felt like he was really a really solid replacement, and actually I felt like he was an updated version of Casemiro. Like he showed different characteristics to what Casemiro was showing. Because there are many ways to play the game. Obviously, like everyone has their own qualities and lack thereof. So for me, to be honest, so far so good. I am really satisfied. I was one of the biggest critics of saying you shouldn't spend 100 million euros on someone like Tchouameni, and I still stand by that. But you can fault the player for this transfer fee, but so far so good. Like he's done much more than I expected, to be honest.
Yeah, didn't he have the assist to Rodrigo as well for the goal?
I mean,
was it though? Like it was a ricochet. Like the ball came.
It was a rebound
from the defender,
that Rodrigo fired into the net, right?
True.
Yeah.
Like I think the pass that led to the initial shot was from Tchouameni, I think, right?
Yep. You're right.
But would you get the assist
Yeah.
for it?
Yeah. I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I think would be a goal without an assist.
Well, yeah, like that was a very good instance. Well, how neat and tidy he is in possession most of the time. Tchouameni is very nifty in possession, which is a breath of fresh air. Casemiro was good as well, but Tchouameni seems to be much more niftier in tight spaces. But we got to fall back on Lunin as well. Last game must have been a slight, wake up call. He was out in the cold, suddenly required to start. This week was kind of expected, so I think he had much more time to kind of get into the groove. But how was his performance? And I know there wasn't much to do, but still, was it encouraging signs, Javier?
I mean, Lunin is a keeper that knows that he's a second goalkeeper like no one else, Maybe like Farouk was saying earlier, I think it's off the podcast when we're comparing Donnarumma with Navas.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of dynamic, Lunin knows that there's no way he's going to play if Courtois is fit, And he knows that.
Yeah.
And it's a sad position to be, but when you have in front of you the best goalkeeper in the world, that you need to be able to perform, like a Nacho type. You're not the first option, but you need to perform. I think the thing that it's lack of Lunin, I don't know if it's because of his age or his personality, but I think we need a goalkeeper that screams, like. Put the defense in the right positions,
Yeah.
And I don't see Lunin doing that. I think of Lunin.
But you should also understand that Lunin is fairly young, and compared to Thibaut Courtois, like he is.
I think I don't know if his age, his personality, but
when you look around, they are all like established internationals. I mean, Lunin is also like at the moment he is playing for Ukraine.
But it's not the same.
I disagree with that, Sunil, actually, because sorry for interrupting, Javier. I watched Dean Henderson at United, and he was shouting to Maguire, and he was shouting to Varane, he was shouting to Luke Shaw. These are all internationals. You understand? I think I get Javier's point that the goalkeeper has to be more commanding. But on the other hand, as well, maybe you have to check
Fair
other
point.
goalkeepers. Like, for example, David De Gea as well. He's not that much of a commanding goalkeeper as well, but he's one hell of a shot stopper. So I think every goalkeeper has their own characteristics, to be honest. But just I think it's not about the age; it's just about the characteristic of the goalkeeper themselves.
Probably. I was just trying to maybe find a reason for me to kind of empathize with Lunin, but this makes more sense, I guess. Maybe it
Uh,
is a natural characteristic of Lunin who is not that vocal,
Farouk is right. We don't need to be a screamer if you have other kind of personality. But I think when you understand that you are the second goalkeeper, you
Yeah.
need to maybe impose something that you are not. If Lunin was the first
Yeah.
goalkeeper, I wouldn't mind if he's the player that he is. But I mean, if you are the second goalkeeper, you need to push. I mean, Dean Henderson is not a is the same dynamic I think between Donnarumma and Navas.
Yeah.
All the both of them are good enough, but I think it's not the same screamed at my wire that he commits like a gazillion errors in a game towards to just scream at Alaba like in the goal today, like,
Yeah.
hey, Militao is out, you need to go to cover.
Yeah.
But it's a bit nitpicking. I think Lunin is gonna be our number one goalkeeper eventually,
Hopefully,
and
hopefully.
I think he has the potential. He's young. We don't have younger goalkeepers. Maybe the last one was Casillas, and he was exceptional. But we
Canizares'
usually
son
don't
is
have
there, Castilla, so he's
we
also
usually don't
coming.
have that younger of a goalkeeper.
Mm,
Also, on any other team in the world, it's
mm,
rare.
mm. Fair point, but so yeah, games like these are it's very scarce and it's very harsh on an aspiring career that Lowell might be looking at, but I'm pretty sure like as his prominence grows on the international level as well, he'll be afforded more minutes, surely, especially Copa del Rey this season. Lunin is going to be starting every game,
Can
so
I ask you guys something though? Do you guys
yeah.
think Lunin becomes the first choice at Real Madrid, and how long does this take? Because I think Couto is 30 or 31, and we've seen goalkeepers go to 36, 37, and Lunin is 23. If he has to wait for 5 years, he's going to be 28, 29. Like, do you guys think he's going to wait that long to become a first choice? Or like, do you think we're going to put because Couto out at a certain point in time to give him the chance?
I think this is my gut feeling. Yeah, I think Lunin might leave next season, especially if he has a good Copa del Rey tournament and we hopefully win it or go late into it, and him having a very crucial role in it, he might go for pastures new. But if it's not the case and he is still kind of not getting enough minutes, he might stay. It's all about, I think, him getting game time, because we all know for a fact that goalkeepers only hit their primes like late into their 20s or early 30s in some instances. But I don't think he's going to waste 5-6 years. We shouldn't even let him do that. As a club. But
I
I
would
don't
say
think
he's
he's
gonna
gonna.
be.
Yeah.
Um, how do you say when you play like for the other team
On loan.
and you on a loan? Yeah, thank you. I think he's gonna be on a loan for the next season. He needs to be at least 1 or 2 seasons in a uh, mid-table team, not on the bottom half. I will see him in a, I don't know, in a Brighton kind of team or
That's the
something like
thing.
that.
I mentioned this in earlier podcasts as well. Um, what we did with Carvajal and Leverkusen was brilliant. I don't think something like that can work anymore. Even kind of Fede with Depor was very effective. I don't think in this current market scenario that any club is gonna pick up any good club that we can send Loon into earn experience, not clubs like Valladolid or Mallorca, like teams like your Sociedad, where we sent Odegaard, who came back a much better player when he went there. I don't think that kind of scenario exists anymore, and which is why I honestly believe he wouldn't go out on loan. You could loan out a keeper whose stature is much more smaller than Lunin. Lunin is a very good keeper already, and I think no big club is going to go for him, especially on a loan. But I guess that is for another day. Lunin, I hope he manages to keep a clean sheet against Getafe Saturday.
You know who the strikers of Getafe are, right?
I
Our
know.
boys.
Yeah, they are bulldozers. I can fairly imagine it'll be a rough night. But let's hope and pray, man. We gotta shut up shop and see out games. Like, we gotta train ourselves to be much more compact defensively. But yeah, boys. I guess not the best of nights, best of Champions League nights, not retro Champions League night in the Bernabeu, but job done. Benzema at least looking a bit more sharper than last game. Rodrigo had a fantastic game. Vinicius was imperious. Alaba had a stinker. Militao was, I think, fine. Carvajal was a bit shaky. Mendy was really good. I felt like midfield was fine. Only gripe, maybe Modric didn't come on at all, which kind of makes me a little nervous. I want the man, always running my midfield whenever possible. But Shakhtar at home was a game to give him some breathing room. But any final thoughts? Or is it?
I would say
9 out of 9 points.
Nope.
What did Javier say? I couldn't understand.
Sorry. I was saying like 9 out of 9 points.
Yeah. Very, very good start. Very good start. I have this slight worry. Maybe finishing second always led us to the three-peat. I remember. Where did we finish last season? Were we first in the group?
No.
Yeah,
No,
we were
right?
first. We were first.
Yeah.
We were first.
We beat Inter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason we got PSG was because PSG was in the same group as City and they finished second against. Then we.
And also that rigged.
Yes, that rigged draw, right?
Yeah.
The MFers, man, those guys. I don't know. Anyways,
Jacob,
let them come.
Do you
Let them
think
come again.
finishing first is going to hurt us?
no, man.
No, I think
Statistically,
it's
it's always more helpful to finish first. So let's see, unless there's a curveball thrown at us with the other results.
I hope not. This team.
the only teams that are pretty good are Bayern and Manchester, and they both maybe finish in the first position. So if we can avoid either of those.
We should avoid Haaland by all costs, man. By crook or anything. Avoid just Haaland. I don't care who is coming, just not Haaland, man. Not Haaland.
I hope, because I saw the Barca game against Inter at the San Siro yesterday. And I hope the only chance of us avoiding Haaland is that somehow Inter makes it to the knockouts and knocks City out in the round of 16. Inter are not a good team by any stretch, but they play very defensive football. So I just hope and pray, somebody like that can knock City out, because Haaland, at this rate, we're not going to stand a chance. Honestly, if we come across them, like if we face them in a one-off final, it's a different scenario. But two legs against City in this form, I don't think.
Sunil, I don't share optimism. Even before we started, I was saying to Javier, like, I don't know, like, I watched Haaland before he moved, but Haaland wasn't this good. Is it that it's City's team or is it Haaland himself? I think if you have 10 goalkeepers, man, I think Haaland will still find a way to score. That man is
because the sheer amount of chances you are fed, right? Like a man of his quality is gonna bury most of them. That is why he's scoring braces and hat tricks like fun.
But then, Sunaid, actually, one thing you should also say is that, at the derby at the weekend, for his second goal, to be honest, like the ball wasn't a good ball. It was just Haaland finishing a
I
fantastic
know
way.
how he knows when to stretch out, what part of his body to manipulate to get that angle to, whip the ball in.
I mean, what I'm trying to say to you that I feel like it's very unfair for us not to sit here and say like, oh, Haaland is finishing this because he's getting good service. But I mean, when you check half of the goals he scored, they're like outrageous goals that only Zlatan used to score back in the days when he was at Inter and Ajax. Those are outrageous goals that even Aguero wasn't scoring at District when he had the same service, man. I mean, to be honest, man, I am scared of this guy.
It is a combination. Like you gotta also put it in context that Haaland has grown a couple of inches, I think, from last season. I read something along those lines recently.
I mean, is it possible even to grow more?
I mean, he's 21.
Is it possible? Is it physically possible to grow anymore?
Like either he's a robot or he was cloned, either of those, because this is not something, humanly, like, which can be classified as like a human thing to do, because, the amount of records he's breaking, especially in the Premier League.
Actually, I don't know if you guys know, but last year, Sunil was the biggest proponent for bringing Haaland to Madrid. And to be honest, now I actually support him 100%. Like I know the reason actually I wasn't very sure was that because Benzema is there, you understand? But right now, because of how much scared I am of City, I'd rather have Haaland with 70 million and earning 300k on the bench, to be honest. I mean, it's not about, him coming and straightening us. No, it's about not making those guys stronger than they are. Holy goal. Like, I mean, I am so scared of those guys, to be honest.
I have good news.
Okay.
This week, they in a news, there's Fernando Sainz. He's the son of our former president. I don't remember his name, but Sainz as well. He said in the Chiringuito that Erling Haaland has a clause, that Real Madrid clause.
Oh.
Apparently, it says that not the next season, the next one, I think 24-25, he has a release clause of 150 million euros, but it only applies to Real Madrid.
Oh, well, you see.
I am already has a calendar with that.
This is false, because Guardiola actually, after the game today, specifically addressed that. He said that
never believe anything Guardiola says.
He said that specifically that Haaland doesn't have a clause in his contract that says he can join Real Madrid or anything.
Always, before any major player leaves, he yaps absolute nonsense. So don't trust Pep. As of now,
I mean, as I've said in the summer as well, it should be very, very stupid of Manchester City to let Haaland have a clause in his contract.
But Farouk, if you are Manchester City, would you rather have Erling Haaland 2 seasons than not have it at all?
He offers himself to play for you, right? And he is the son of your former legend. Why wouldn't you accept a clause? And it's not even something, just for the sake of it. It is 180, 150 million euros or pounds or whatever. So
it is still El Chiringuito. Like we shouldn't believe them either.
I actually don't, because I think Man City are one of the best run clubs in the world. I don't think they will bow to such pressure.
They also know for a fact that Haaland is in the mold of someone like Zlatan, who is prone to moving clubs every 2-3 years. He's not the guy you build statues on. He comes in, does the job, gets out. But it would be different with us because we are a different entity, so it might be different. But I'm telling you, fuck Chiringuito. Like, I don't think nobody should take them seriously. But this clause rumors has been there even before City and Haaland signed an official agreement. So this has always been a thing. And even if it isn't exclusive to Real Madrid, his father outright coming and stating that, Real Madrid was obviously, first choice, but since it was Benzema involved, we couldn't do it. That kind of respect he himself, exuded from interviews like that makes total sense with the links. So I completely believe he is Bernabeu bound. It's only a matter of time. It's
I mean,
only a matter of time.
I agree with both of you. Fuck Chiringuito, but the only thing that excites me about it is the guy that said the news. Fernando Sanz is not a journalist. He's doesn't have like this. He doesn't gain anything about it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I dream for a move for Erling Braut Haaland. I'm not gonna be a Manchester City fan in any way or form, but I mean that guy is built different.
Yeah.
And I want him. I want him in the number 9 shirt at the Real Madrid in the new Bernabeu. That's the only thing that I dream.
It'll be the perfect fit, like even if we don't get Mbappe, Haaland being here would
Fuck
be.
Mbappe. I don't
mean,
want him.
really, I support you, man, Javier. Fuck Mbappe, man. Who is the hell is Mbappe, man? I don't want him. Vini will do my shit for me, man. Just give me
Watch
Haaland.
everybody doing a U-turn next year.
U-turn for what? I mean, we should
Rodrigo.
That's the thing, man. Vini, Rodrigo, put Haaland through the middle, man. We're set for the next 10 years, man.
Well, may your words turn to gold, but I don't expect the Mbappe thing to go away. It is going to be back.
Yeah, obviously you're right, but I'm just saying, like, this is a personal choice here. Like right now, give me Mbappe or give me Haaland. I take Haaland because Benzema goes after 2 seasons. Vinicius is there for the next 10 years. Rodrigo is there for the next 10 years. I put Haaland through the middle, and I'm set for the next 10 years as well. Right. And all the drama that comes with Kylian Mbappe, man. I mean, there's no need for that, man. In my opinion, that's just it.
Well, we had put out a poll on our Insta story right after we are done with the live. Check us out if you're actually listening later, especially on audio. Check our Instagram stories and vote for who would you prefer, either next year or even a couple of years down the line, Mbappe or Haaland. Let's see what the people say. We all know we have that hatred towards Mbappe, but he's going to be running campaigns like how we heard him speak. Bernabeu is my home. I don't know why they have this liking for me, blah, blah, blah. We don't like you. Mofo, come on, man. Just wake up. Your fever dream is over. At least.
I mean, I want Mbappe to return to the Bernabeu, sometime, and let's boo him so that he can recognize that the treatment he got last year was because he was the prince who was promised. Now he was the prince who dished us. So now we can boo him and he can actually feel the wrath of our people.
Is he a prince? He's a fucking dictator. Anyway, this episode is going places that we don't like it to go. But yeah, man. Mbappe, the can of worms will be opened again. Jacob is quite throughout, because I think man has a knife being sharpened, to finish up Mbappe. No comments, yeah? Jacob.
I mean, yeah. If I speak, I'm in big trouble, as Mourinho used
to say. Well, I guess on that note, I think it is time to wind it up, boys. Watch out for the Getafe preview, hopefully tomorrow. Turn on your notification bells on if you want to know when we are going to be going live, or just keep posted on our socials. Check out our stories to know when we're going live. But thank you for the support, people. Check out Real Madrid Committee. Link is in the description. They run a fantastic Instagram page, has been our partners throughout this journey. Check out Momento Madridismo. They are our collaborators on the Vienna's Blancas podcast. They'll be doing a preview hopefully Thursday or Friday. So keep checking out our socials to find out when. And yeah, thanks again for the incredible support. Really humbled with the 10K plays on audio platforms. Yeah, we just hope we can build up on last season. But yeah, Until next time, Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Great.